Welcome back. Well, we're 2 days away from another Friday night of football, and for 9-man teams in North Dakota, it's the final week of the regular season. The games are getting more and more critical, and here to shed some light on all 4 divisions, including a little playoff primer, is our own Jody Norstedt. So Jody, let's start with the big schools. Who do you have as your top 5 teams, and how will this week affect the playoff conversation?
Well, thanks, Kelly. It is that time of year where playoff positioning starts to be a hot topic. Here's a look at my power rankings to give you an idea of who I think the contenders are for a state title. West Fargo is #1, and I don't think I have to do much explaining on that one. They're breaking records and breaking hearts of opposing teams. Bismarck Century impresses me more each week. Their defense forced turnovers, and their offense was balanced in a 38-7 win over a very good Minot team last Friday. Bismarck and South are at the 3 and 4 spots. Cheyenne is #5 for me because that win over Century is looking more impressive each week. Remember, they beat the Patriots in the opener. As for the playoff teams in the West, Century and Bismarck are the front runners for that #1 seed. Legacy is in at that 3 spot for now. Mandan plays Minot in a huge game this week. The winner likely ends up with that 4th and final playoff spot. Davies appears to be the other EDC team that will make the field. They already have 3 conference wins. Despite West Fargo's dominance, first place in the EDC will still be on the line on Friday when the Packers travel to Fargo South. Both teams are unbeaten in conference play, and both set passing records last week. West Fargo's Andy Gravdahl and South's Tanner DuBois are the top 2 quarterbacks in the conference, but it'll come down to much more than quarterback play on Friday night.
Well, I think they're really disciplined on offense and defense, so I think we have to match their intensity and discipline and not make mistakes. I think we'll be fine.
We got to be very smart with the football. We have to limit their possessions because they are a quick strike offense and they don't make many mistakes. So one thing we're stressing with our guys this week is we can't turn the ball over. Got to keep it in our possession and limit the big plays because they've been making big plays all year long, and those are going to be huge keys for us.
Well, South has shown glimpses of its potential, but it'll be tough against West Fargo. Let's chat about the 2A level now. We'll be televising the Valley City at Shanley game on Friday night. The Deacons are the new #1 team after snapping their long losing streak to St. Mary's. Here's the latest power rankings with those 2 swapping spots at the top. The biggest game in 2A this week has Wahpeton traveling to Jamestown. Both teams are 4-2 with 3 games to play. Devils Lake has the same record. Remember, 6 teams make the playoffs in the new look 2A, so that final spot will likely come down to Watford City, who's 3-3 right now, and Grafton, who sits at 2-4. The Wolves own the head-to-head tiebreaker for that one, but if Grafton is able to run the table, they might just sneak in. In Class A, there will be 16 teams that qualify for the playoffs, which means 4 from each region, with no teams getting a bye. We have just 2 weeks left for Class A, so every outcome this weekend will be very important. Here's a look at the latest power rankings. Beulah still my #1. They've been all season for me at that top spot, but they really have a chance to solidify that spot with a win at Dickinson Trinity on Friday. That'll be a biggie. It'll likely decide the Region 4 champ. Ellendale, Edgeley, Coleman, Hillsborough, Central Valley are also squaring off on Friday for what could be billed as the Region 1 championship. Grant Skager, Clayton Greenike, 2 great rushing attacks going head-to-head in that one. It could very well be a state semifinal preview too. Valva Sawyer makes its way into my top 5 for the first time this season. They're outscoring their opponents by a combined 272-13, that being through 6 games. You see Langdon Munich there at #4. The Cardinals had their region title bout this past Friday. They pummeled previously unbeaten Carrington 31-zip, knocked them out of my power rankings. Jacob Delvo and Anthony Economy have been lighting up the scoreboard all season. I just think this is a team that plays an entertaining brand of football. The question now is, how do they keep it going?
We got some playmakers on the outside that we can throw the ball to, especially when our line's giving us time. We're pretty damn good on the outside.
The biggest thing is we got to keep getting better each and every week. We got a senior-dominated team, and you know, they understand that each week gets bigger and bigger. We've played in a lot of big games here the last year and a half, so you know, we just got to keep getting better.
Boy, they're looking good right now. The Cardinals get Central Dakota and Park River Fortville Lincoln to close out the year. Heading into the final regular season week of 9-man football, yes, this is it for 9-man for the regular season. Cavalier remains my #1 team. The Tornadoes have been in that spot all season. Shiloh Christian is at #2, and it's a big finale for the Skyhawks. They host last year's state runner-up, New Salem Glen Olin, on Friday, and the winner earns the Region 5 crown. How about that for a playoff tune-up? Another matchup with the same stakes pits top 5 teams Wyndmere-Lidgerwood against Thompson for the Region 1 championship. We're going to see a lot of points in that one, and a win for either team secures a first-round bye in the playoffs. There are also those win-and-in matchups across the state. One that comes to mind is Grant County Flasher against Mont Region New England out in Region 5. Win on Friday or your season is finished. It's the best and worst time of the year for these kids, but it will certainly be entertaining football. Kelly, back to you.
Good stuff. Thanks, Jody. Well, coming up after the break, we talk high school football in South Dakota. Jason Andera gives his updated rankings and what the playoffs would look like if they started right now. Then later in the show, we head to Grand Forks for UND hockey coach talk with Brad Berry. Stay tuned.